Okay. Question number 21. Which quantity is a force due to gravitational field? So the answer is pretty simple. Weight. We describe weight as force due to gravity. So we all know that the answer is going to be C. It's pretty simple. Question number 22. We did this, but I'm just going to repeat this question. You just need to find the gradient. Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And in this case, the numbers that you have is 10, 15, and on the other hand, you have 6 and 10. So 6 and 10, always remember you need to write the x coordinates first, and then you write the y coordinates, and then you just subtract both of these and both of these and divide them. So it's very simple. Question number 22, again repeated, so I'm not going to solve this. Question number 24. A box is placed on the ground. An upward force of 15 Newton is needed to lift the box at constant speed. Which row describes the box? So if it's 15 Newton, remember Newton, N is force. This represents force. And weight is a force. So this means that this is weight. So the weight of the box is cancel, cancel. It's either going to be, the answer is either going to be A or either it's going to be D. Then mass of the box. Very simple. W is equal to mg. Weight, if it's 15, m, we have to find that g 10, so m is equal to 1.5 kilogram. So the answer is going to be A. Simple. Okay. The graph shows how the speed of an object varies with time. At which labeled time is the object decelerating? Decelerating means negative acceleration. Negative acceleration means speed is decreasing. So the answer is going to be D. The speed is decreasing, kiddos. Whenever you look at deceleration, so deceleration means the speed is decreasing. Question number 26 again repeated, so we're just going to miss this. I'll skip this. Question 27. Which equation shows the relationship between the weight W and the mass of an object? We all know it's B. I do not need to explain this. We all know it's B. Guys, everyone, I want everyone to be contributing. Be active. This is how you learn. We did this question. Again, the answer is B. I'm not going to stop the recording at 30 MCQs because half of these were repeated. An object is on the surface of the earth. Which statement describes the weight of the object? So the weight of the object, remember, we can read all the statements. A, the quantity of material that the object contains, this is your mass. The quantity of space that the object takes up, this is known as your volume. Then we have the gravitational force acting on the object, this is your weight. And then we have the object's resistance to a change in its motion, this is mass. This is basically law of inertia. So the answer is C. So you also learn a lot from the wrong statements as well. Okay. Like you just learned the definition of mass. An object's resistance to a change in motion. That's known as your law of inertia or the quantity of material that the object contains. 30. A ball falls from rest through the air towards the ground. The diagram shows two forces acting on the ball. As the ball falls, the air resistance increases. Which statement is correct? एयर रेजिस्टेंस increases, gravitational force remains same of course. वेट कभी इंक्रीज या डिक्रीज नहीं होता. एयर रेजिस्टेंस हमारे पास क्या हो रहा है? Increase. So what's going to happen? The acceleration of the ball will decrease. We know that B is the answer. Nope. Sorry, increase नहीं. Sorry, my bad. मैंने गलत लिख दिया. Decrease, guys. Decreases. वो मैंने ऊपर देखा था मगर नीचे वाला मैंने ठीक कर दिया. So it's gonna be A. It decreases. Because the air resistance, whenever the air resistance increases, kiddos, when the air resistance increases, your resultant force decreases. Yeah, the terminal velocity वाला सारा concept. I spent like good half an hour. Yup, perfect. So the acceleration of the ball decreases and it goes to terminal velocity and then the velocity is constant and blah 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 blah. इतना पढ़ा लिया थक गया मैं जेन्युइन थक जाता होता हूँ टर्मिनल वेलोसिटी के सवालों से. Question number 31. A compressed spring projects a ball horizontally in a vacuum chamber. Vacuum chamber means no Air resistance. On the Earth, the ball reaches the chamber floor 4 meter in front of the spring. An identical experiment is done on the moon. The gravitational field strength is lower on the moon than on the Earth. The experimental results on the moon are compared with those on the Earth. अच्छा इसका मैं आपको बड़ा सिंपल सा आंसर आप लोग देंगे. आई डू नॉट इवन वांट यू गाइस टू रीड दिस. सही है. 4 मीटर है. ठीक है. गाइस मैंने आपको थोड़ी देर पहले एक कॉन्सेप्ट पढ़ाया था अबाउट टू फोर्सेस बीइंग एट 90 डिग्रीज एंगल. वो क्या था? When two forces or two things are at a 90-degree angle, what effect do those two have on each other? Uh, Fatma, that was an example. I gave an example of centripetal force and velocity, but I was teaching something else. When two forces or any two a velocity force, any two things are at an angle of 90 degree, what effect do those two have on each other? Yup. Fatma, you joined late. Humam, Umar, Gulin, what effect do those two have on each other? I made you guys write it down. किधर गया वो? भूल गए इतना जल्दी से? अभी तो लिखवाया था. किधर गया वो सवाल? इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. देखिए देखिए whenever two things are at 90 degree, they do not affect each other. They do not. They won't depend on each other, or they do not affect each other. So in this case, this question, they're talking about horizontal एंड देन दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट ग्रेविटी. क्योंकि जब देखिए ग्रेविटेशनल फील्ड हमारे पास चेंज होती है तो वो तो सिर्फ अर्थ पे अलग होती है और हमारे पास मून पे डिफरेंट होती है. सो दैट मीन्स योर वर्टिकल component इज चेंजिंग. बट डज दैट हैव एनी इफेक्ट ऑन द हॉरिजॉन्टल component? जी चेंज हो रहा है ना, जी के अलावा तो चेंज नहीं हो रहा ना कुछ. बट जी इज ऑलवेज एक्टिंग वर्टिकली, वी नो दैट राइट. जी जो हमारे पास होता है ग्रेविटेशन, दैट ऑलवेज एक्ट्स वर्टिकली, इसकी डायरेक्शन नीचे होती है. And they are talking about horizontal. So will these two have any effect on each other? No. So what is the answer now? पढ़ें सारे A B C D. There should be no change horizontally if there is a change in the vertical motion. Do you guys get that? Padma, do you get this point? Whenever two things, that's why I'm saying things, it can be velocity, force, it can be any two things, have an angle of 90 in between them. So it means they're perpendicular to each other. There is no effect on one if there is a change in the other. Do you get that, Fatma? Nope, sir. Okay, no problem. Okay. Let's suppose I have A, this is force A and this is force B. If B increases or B decreases, it has no effect on A. A remains the same because it has an angle of 90 degree. 90 degree के अलावा कोई भी component हो, it brings an effect on the other force as well. However, at 90 degree, these two do not have any effect on each other. You can increase A, you can decrease A. It will have no effect on B. You can increase B, you can decrease B. So in this case, what was happening? This G was decreasing, right? It went from Earth, G 9.8 to 3.7 on Moon. Your G decreased. However, your A will remain same. So the answer is the horizontal speed is the same on the Moon and the ball hits the floor 4 meter in front of the spring as it did on Earth. ठीक है? Is this point clear? This is a little, yeah, this, I know this is a little advanced, but just that you have proper understanding of this topic. Okay, whenever two things are at a 90 degree, always remember, मैं वैसे 90 डिग्री बोलता हूँ, वो हमेशा बोलेंगे हॉरिजॉन्टल वर्टिकल. ओके, सो दिस इज द डिफरेंस. 32. I do not even need to read this question. I just know they're asking about the mass of an object. A mass of an object does it never changes. So I know the answer is either C and D. And this the distance from the Earth increases, the strength of Earth's gravitational field D is decreasing. So if D is decreasing and we know that weight is directly proportional to G, so what will happen, kiddos? If G is decreasing, weight will also decrease. So the answer is C. Then 33. A cyclist rides 300-meter up a slope, 300-meter in 50 seconds. She then rides down the slope again 300-meter in 25 seconds. What is her average speed? I don't know if I made you guys write the formula. The average speed, okay, remember these are called crocodile mouth. ये इसको कहते हैं crocodile mouth. Throughout physics, whenever you need, throughout physics, yep, in physics and chemistry as well, whenever you need to indicate that you're taking average, you use these crocodile mouths. Is that clear? So they represent that you're taking average. So this is equal to total distance over total time. So the total distance is 300-meter plus 300-meter, that is 600 meters. And the total time is what? 50 plus 25, that is 75 seconds. So it's going to be, I believe, 8 is the answer. Yeah, the answer is 8 meters per second. Is this question clear? Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? Okay, there's 34. What a beautiful question to test your understanding. A student investigates the motion of a ball rolling down a slope. The diagram shows the speed v of the ball at different times t. Which statement describes the motion of the ball? So, okay, the difference in the time is constant 0.2, 0.2, 0.2. So we just need to look at your velocity. First, there is a 2.8 meters per second difference. Then there is a 2.3 meters per second difference. And then there is a 1.9 meters per second difference. Okay, so 2.8, 2.3, 1.9. What is being shown over here? What is happening to the acceleration? What do you guys think is the answer? Let's start from D. The velocity is constant. No, it is not. The speed is decreasing. No, the speed is increasing. The acceleration is negative. No, it is not. The answer is A. The acceleration is not constant. What is this change in velocity called? Whenever I say change in velocity, what do I mean by change in velocity? बताएं? What is meant by change in velocity? It means acceleration. Why do you guys forget? Acceleration is not constant. And then 35. Which statement about acceleration is correct? Which statement about acceleration is correct? It is related to changing speed of an object. It is the distance an object travels in 1 second. It is the force acting on the object divided by blah 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 blah. The answer is A. Bus. It is related to the changing speed of an object. So guys, with that we are done for today. We did these 35 MCQs, and then tomorrow we'll, not tomorrow, I might take a class tonight as well. Tomorrow we'll complete this worksheet. I believe this worksheet has like a 70 questions or something like that. So we'll complete this tomorrow.